Here at Xbox, we are pumped to be here with you guys and to be able to showcase for the very first time on Australian soil the Xbox One console. Now, my name's Adam, I'm part of the local Aussie Xbox team, and today we'll be giving you a glimpse at not only the technology behind the Xbox One console, but also some of the kick-ass games that you guys are going to want to play as we approach launch. Now, a quick caveat, of course, we wanted to bring as much content to show you guys today as possible, so just be aware that everything we're showing you is pre-release code, so if we hit a few tech snafus along the way, just bear with us and we'll power through those together. So, with that, let's jump on in and take a look at the specs of the box, for those of you which don't already know. So the Xbox One sports an 8-core CPU with 8 GB of system memory and a 500 GB hard drive. In addition to that, it's got a HDMI import, which allows pass-through of other devices through the Xbox One console, an IR blaster, as well as 4K resolution. But that really is just the beginning. With the Xbox One's cloud acceleration functionality, the processing power really becomes endless. And for every Xbox One that you have connected in your living room, there's 3 more of those bad boys in the cloud working away doing additional processing for you. Now that all sounds cool and great, and if you're into specs, then yeah, that's exciting stuff. But for the rest of us, I mean, what does all that stuff do? Well, a couple of things. So these are some of the new features you can expect to see, very different from the 360. Firstly, I kind of already touched on it, computational power. We're talking future-proofing of the Xbox One. Not only is this machine significantly more powerful than the 360, but with the cloud, we're future-proofing this device for 10 years and beyond. We can consistently update and provide more and more power to that box. Also, what that enables is human AI, so the ability for the console to pick up trends and gameplay styles of both you and your friends and build that into how the robots and the bots within your multiplayer games, when you're not playing against other real players, so that they act like real human opponents. Very cool stuff. You know, living worlds, you guys may have heard a little bit about this. You know, when you log off from your console at night and you jump back on in the morning, that world that you were playing on has transformed around you. Battles have been won and lost. The environment has changed and been damaged. You know, I touched on before, 500 gigabytes of onboard storage, but hey, if you tap that out, don't worry, unlimited storage in the cloud. You can continue to save things up there. And what we've also really aimed to do with the Xbox One is to bring together 2 operating systems to work simultaneously together. Not only deliver multitasking, but to enable instant switching. So if I'm busting out a game of Forza 5 here, and I get a Skype call from a mate, boom, with a click of a button I can instantly switch to that Skype call and take that, and then instantly switch back to Forza 5. You know, maybe I lose a race, and I'm like, I don't want to try that again right now. I just spent 15 minutes playing that track and I lost, God damn it. I'm going to jump over and watch an episode of Breaking Bad. I can do that, and then boom, switch back to Forza 5 and pick up and give that another try. In addition to that, you'll see a whole host of new applications coming to the Xbox One. Of course, Skype 1080p is coming, and that will be applicable from the box across any other device that supports Skype. Very cool stuff. And this particular app, along with a number of others that you can expect to see, are powered by the all-new Kinect sensor. Now, rather than talking about that, I thought we'd take a look at, you know, what does the Kinect see behind the scenes? And to help me do that, I'm going to invite my colleague Eric up to the stage to help me demo some of the functionality. Get that round of applause. What's going on? Okay, if we can just switch to the Kinect sensor view, guys. You guys see that up on the big screens, or? There we go. All right. So we've made changes to the Kinect sensor in 3 main ways. We've enhanced Kinect's eyes, Kinect's ears, and Kinect's brain. So firstly, let's take a look at Kinect's eyes. What you can see on screen right now is the 3D vision of Kinect. It actually has 3 times the fidelity of the first generation Kinect sensor. But why do we care about that? Well, we can now see things like precise movements, like Eric moving his fingers. We can see crinkles and creases on his shirt as he moves closer to the device. We can also track facial expressions as he opens and closes his eyes and mouth. We can track that and see that and incorporate into facial expressions of the player that you're actually playing as in, say, a third or first person shooter game. What we've also done is improve the playing space area required. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with, you know, the 2.5 to 3 meters you kind of need on the first generation sensor to actually play a Kinect game and have your full body tracked. We've improved that significantly, and we can now track a player from just over 1 meter distance from the sensor. Eric can come on in and show you guys that. Now, in addition to that, we've also improved the width of the camera lens. So we can see more of the living area, creating a much larger play space. So if Eric doesn't want to just play by himself, we can bring another 5 people on, and we can track 6 players at once, and they now have ample room to play those Kinect games in that environment. Now, if I grab this controller here, what we're also able to do now is that the Kinect sensor now sports a 1080p high definition colour camera, as you can see, very crisp. This is great for Skype calls and the like, just the quality is amazing. But look, as a gamer myself, I know that the vast majority of us typically play games in dimly lit rooms or sometimes even the pitch black. And well, let's be honest, in the past, if we can just dim the lights here right now, with the first generation Kinect sensor, yeah, you could kind of see the rough outline of Eric, but I mean, geez, in the pitch black, it was pretty tough, particularly to track those specific movements. With Kinect 2.0, we've enabled active IR, which is essentially night vision for the Kinect sensor, and we can again see everything that everything that Eric's doing, I should say, in the dark. Now don't worry, if you don't want what's happening in the dark to be seen, which I'm sure is the case on many occasions, you can switch that off and disable the Kinect's eyes and ears so that it can't see what you're up to. Now what you'll also notice is that as Eric powers up a flashlight on his phone and shines that on his body, you can see in the lower right hand corner that we can now see Eric, but we can't see him very well. And this is often replicated in your homes at, where you're living, in that there may be sunlight coming through a window, or maybe there's a lamp in the corner of the room that's shining ambient light onto your player, and look, that isn't giving you the best Kinect experience. But as you'll see in the top left, with the active IR mode, that light was entirely filtered out, so no impact on tracking movements. Now, what about Kinect's brain? Well, we've also made a number of changes there. You guys may or may not remember Stickman from the first gen sensor. Well, he's back and he's all new and improved. We can now track multiple more points on the body. So we can now see smooth movement in Eric's hips, if you're into that type of thing, and Eric's shoulders. We can also differentiate between his thumb and fingers through Stickman as well. And then we've taken that a step further, and look, Stickman, he's put on a few kilos over the years. So we now kind of refer to him as Blockman. And why this is cool is that we can now not only track directional movements, but we can also track rotations in movement. So as Eric moves his leg to front facing, to back facing, or rotates his head, for example, we can now track that. So no more cheating in Dance Central, guys. I'm onto you all. Now what we can also do here is track distribution of weight around the body, and that's resembled here by Eric moving from green to red where the weight's being dispersed. In addition to that, we can also track the speed of movement. So if Eric was to throw a few short punches in a boxing game, for example, those little white circles appearing on his fists, they're picking up those small movements. But if Eric throws a big haymaker hook, boom, you're going to see that big white circle, which is the Kinect's way of picking up the velocity of that move that's taking place. Now, it probably wasn't the best thing to ask him to do prior to this next section, but we can also track heart rate with the Kinect sensor. So the device can see blood flow beneath the skin and estimate what your heart rate is. Now you'll see that when Eric's standing relatively still, his heart rate is somewhat flat outside of the odd beat after those haymakers. But if he really starts to pick up the pace, jogs on the spot, starts sprinting, as you would often do in a fitness application, for example, the Kinect's reading that and we'll be able to calculate a beats per minute. And the last new addition that we've added, which I'll show you guys today, is we can now track a player's facial expressions. So if Eric's smiling or frowning or he's happy or sad, we can see that and again build that into how your player may react within a game, actually relating to the facial expressions on your face when you may have just been killed or maybe you're stressing out because you're under heavy fire. Okay, so that's some innovations behind the Kinect sensor, but there's one more piece to the puzzle, and that's the controller. So this is a 360 controller here, and look, quick show of hands, how many of you guys spend, say, 20 hours plus with your hands wrapped around something like this every week? Good, so I'm not alone, that's not awkward at all, good. We've taken this 360 controller, which look, has been heralded as one of the best controllers of all time, and we've made 40 new improvements to it. And I'm certainly not going to stand here and rattle off all those today, but a couple which particularly impressed me were firstly the thumbsticks. They're significantly smaller and they have a gnarled texture around them which make them a lot easier to grip. And it also requires 25% less force when you're pushing those thumbsticks around, which makes it a lot less brutal in those 20-hour gaming sessions. What we've also done is improve the D-pad, so it's now optimised for sweeping movements and combos, great for sports and fighting games. We've improved the comfort of the device, and we've removed this big ugly battery pack from the back of the controller. That's gone, that's now all internal, so it's not in the way of your fingers. And we've improved the centre of gravity so that it feels lighter in the hand. But my personal favourite change is the introduction of impulse triggers. Now, I'm sure you guys are familiar with rumble motors in controllers today. We've taken that one step further and we've put additional rumble motors behind each trigger, which gives us impulse feedback to the fingertips as we're playing. Now, that kind of probably doesn't mean much to you here, but Eric is someone that has played around with this thing quite a lot, so maybe share with us a few of the benefits these guys may get out of it.
So, glad you asked. Really wish we could get more of you guys on stage so you could see these, but there's only literally 3 of them in the country, so it makes it kind of difficult to share them around. That will change soon, absolutely promise. So, impulse triggers, and what can they do? Well, one of my favorites, and I think one of your favorites too soon when you get in your hands, has to do, obviously, with shooting games. So, in a shooting game, now, you'll have different types of guns. You'll have Gatling guns, you'll have pistols, shotgun rifles, sawed-off shotguns, whatever you want there. Now, instead of just getting a visual stimulus, you'll have that recoil come right to your finger in the field.
Right, so you're telling me that the recoil is going to feel different on a sniper rifle versus, say, rapid fire on a machine gun?
Absolutely. Plasma rifles will have their own recoil now.
Yeah, right, nice. Okay, what else have we got?
Well, this one's really subtle, but it's one of my favorites because, say, in an RPG game or a sporting game where stamina is really important and you have to measure your character's stamina in order not to get killed by a necromancer that just happens to sneak up behind you. Well, with this now, when you're running away so that you don't get your ass wiped, you can feel your character's heartbeat coming through that finger, coming through your fingertips, giving you that immersive experience of, oh my god, I'm just gonna die.
Okay, cool. And look, Forza Motorsport 5 is obviously a big game that we've got coming for launch day.
Yes, and I suck at driving games.
We got anything built in there with the impulse triggers?
Well, for those of you that are really good at driving games and not like me, so when I'm going through and I'm taking a corner a little too fast, I always lose control of my car. Happens every time. Now when I slam on the brakes, try and get control back, the ABS will fire up, and instantly I'll feel that coming through my fingertips as well, delivering me that additional information to know that, hey, guess what, you're still bad, you're still bad, you're still really bad.
Very cool. All right, well, thanks for that, Eric. Big round of applause for E as he exits stage right. So, of course, all of these innovations that we've made to the console, the Kinect sensor, and the controller, we've built them seamlessly together from the ground up to deliver something pretty amazing in our games. So, without further ado, let's take a quick glimpse at some of the games you can expect to see on the Xbox One. I think videos are kind of good, but seeing live gameplay, there's nothing quite like that. So I would like to ask Katie to the stage to join me for a moment, and we will be showing you today live, playing on an Xbox One console, one of our biggest hits for launch, Ryse. Let's take a look.
Signal when you're ready. We'll hold the bastards back.
A number of finishing moves there, but there is actually over 100 in the final game, so I'm certainly looking forward to taking off a few heads come November. But look, the games just keep powering through, so let's not waste any more of your time. I would like to now introduce David Silverman, Director of EA Games for Marketing, to the stage to give us a look at another big title, Battlefield 4.
So clearly we have some Battlefield fans here. Where are my Battlefield fans at? Cool. Well, really excited here to show you some live software. So we're going to walk you through a demo momentarily, but before we do that, let me, what happened here? Let me show you this awesome clock icon. You guys see anything? No. Alright. So, it's alright. So basically, with Battlefield 4, what we want to do today is walk you through a little bit of the single-player campaign. Obviously, DICE is really known for its multiplayer, but the single-player we really wanted to focus on and show you guys some of the things that we're doing there. So really, one of the benefits of the fact that the studio is located in Stockholm is literally about 3 to 4 desks away from all the designers and programmers on Battlefield 4 is the engineers who are making the Frostbite 3 next-generation engine. Oh, here we go. And what that allows us to do is it allows a lot of customization to go into Battlefield. So if a designer really has a lot of questions about, man, I wish I could do this, he just walks over to the Frostbite engineers and says, hey, make this cool text for me. And then next thing you know, that text's in the editor and then they're putting it in the game. So how does this play with single player? Well, what we really wanted to do is deliver truly emotionally driven gaming. So really make you feel this intense single player campaign where you really care about the characters. So the way we do that is we do what's called full performance capture. So you guys have seen motion capture before, right? It's where you wear those weird suits with the balls and you dance around, right? Well, that's the way things used to be done. So they would do motion capture, then they'd go to Hollywood, they hire some actor who would go into a voice booth, record the voice, and then some programmer would marry the voice of one dude and the motion capture of someone else, they put them together, right? Well, the problem with that is it's not the same person. And they say body language is really what you communicate when you talk, right? The whole thing is 80% of everything you say is nonverbal. Well, it's a little bit hard when the guy doing the voice isn't seeing any of the motion. So what we do with Battlefield 4 is we do what's called full performance captures. We literally take those Hollywood actors, we bring them all into a soundstage, we actually have them act out scenes just like they would a movie. And by doing that, you get a lot more of the emotion out of the characters, a lot more subtleties that you normally wouldn't get if you just had VO from one guy and motion from someone else. So I'm going to show you guys two videos back to back. The first video is a cinematic from Fishing in Baku demo, which we announced with back in March of this year. Then I'll show you the same video, but show you some behind the scenes so you can see how this full performance capture works. Let's take a look.
Get back in the game, man. Stay with me. Next play, Ruger. That is some of the finest driving I've ever seen. Right there until the end. Hit the light pack. Oh, shit. This seat won't budge. It did, Sergeant. Irish, the worst thing we can do in a situation like this is panic.
Don't talk like that, man. You scared the crap out of me. Back up and move this seat, man. We're still sinking. Shit.
Okay, so that's the full scene. Let's take a look at behind the scenes.
The worst thing we can do in a situation like this is panic.
Don't talk like that, man. You scared the crap out of me. Back up and move this seat, man.
Rucker, you conscious? Get back in the game, man. Stay with me.
It's pretty cool, right? So what we want to do here is we want to really tell a story that is very character driven. So in the past, in our previous Battlefield games, we've told very kind of military stories in a military setting. Now we want to tell a very character-driven story in a military setting. And character-driven stories are what you see a lot in the popular TV shows you guys are watching today. So who watches Game of Thrones? Yeah. Okay. Of course, it's PAX, right? They like throw you out if you don't watch Game of Thrones. But Game of Thrones, you know, yes, it's cool, there's dragons and whatnot, and magic and stuff, but the really reason why people keep watching, and no, it's not the nudity, guys, it's really all the characters, right? You really care about the characters. You want to know what's going to happen to Arya. You want to know what's happening with Tyrion, Lannister, and all those guys, right? No spoilers, don't worry. So we want to do a similar kind of story where you really care about the characters. And as you play through this campaign, and you're obviously the main character, we really want you to encounter various characters and figure out what are their motives, what's driving these people. Some are going to be driven by, you know, greed and fame. Others are driven by loyalty. And you're going to really interact with all these various characters throughout the campaign, really see what drives them, and you're really going to want to feel and care about these characters. That's our goal in the campaign. So enough about the campaign from a story standpoint. You guys care about gameplay. So one of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to take the things that people loved about Battlefield multiplayer and add it into the single player campaign. So first and foremost, we wanted to add a lot more vehicles into the single player campaign. Battlefield vehicles, they go hand in hand. Everybody loves vehicles in Battlefield. We love vehicles. We want to put them in the campaign. Also, another big Battlefield pillar is destruction, right? Destruction is the Battlefield like Tim Tam's art, hot cocoa, right? So we really wanted to make sure that we had a lot more destruction into the Battlefield 4 campaign. So now you're going to be able to pull out a grenade launcher, blow holes through walls, flank the enemy by creating your own path, things like that. The final thing we wanted to add for multiplayer into single player is this idea of being able to spot enemies. So in multiplayer, you guys remember, you know, you play Battlefield 3, let's say you're playing Operation Metro, my personal favorite map, and you go to point A and all of a sudden someone sniped you from you know, one of the stores up there on the right. So maybe you didn't see him, so you go back outside and he kills you again. You go back outside and you might not be able to hit him, but you can spot him with the back button, all of a sudden he gets a, you know, red triangle over his head, and all the guys on your team now see him, and then someone else takes him out for you. We wanted to bring that mechanic into single player. So now what you can do is you can spot enemies in single player, and your AI squad mates will take them out for you, or at least they'll try to take them out for you. Countless reasons why you'd want to do this. Some of the more obvious ones, let's say you're not the world's greatest first-person shooter player. Well, now you don't have to feel like you're turning in your man card to go down on easy if you're stuck on a hard part. You can just start using your squad mates to help you out. But another reason is it really opens up a whole new level of strategic gameplay. So now you can literally take your squad, you can say, hey, go focus on these guys to distract them. I'm going to pull out my grenade launcher and blow holes through walls to go hit them from the other side. So that's a quick overview of the single player campaign. I'm now really excited to tell you guys about Angry Sea. This is the demo you're going to see today. It's storming outside. It'll be storming in the game. I'm going to invite my colleague Glenn Stokes on up. He's going to play through the game, and I'll talk a little bit about some of the features that you're seeing here. as you walk it through. And just to set up the demo, what's going on is one of the carriers in the fleet, the USS Titan, is under attack. And you've been asked to go with your squad to check out the Titan, see what happened, and recover some vital intel. Unfortunately, once you happen to get there, all hell breaks loose.
Clock's ticking on the Titan. I need eyes on board before she's lost forever to the deep blue. There's a number of variables in play. We don't know who attacked them or if they'll be back. Can't afford any surprises. I'll make room for any survivors. Take cover!
Left side, he's now going to go up the right. Glenn actually has a lot of different options he can do. He can go off the left side, down the middle, over the right. He can go back inside the ship if he wants. You'll notice that the things here that are there to kind of dress the scene are much more than just decorations. They're actually interactive. They can harm the enemy, they can harm you. Looks like Glenn's going to go up the right side today. So there you see him again spotting the enemy. Now he's going to blow the support pillars off these aircraft to send them down and trample the enemies as well. Now we got that one pesky grenadier there. If Glenn doesn't do something about him, he's going to blow up all his cover and eventually kill him. So he's going to duck inside the ship, it looks like he's heading. Pick up this light machine gun here on the ground. Now he's going to come up and flank the grenadier from the other side. Now let's get spot these guys. So we'll take this opportunity to show you our new cover mechanic in Battlefield 4. So now when you want to peek over cover, you literally just press up against cover, go into the sights view, and also automatically you'll pop up over the cover. We've also added a lot more customization to the weapons. You can see Glenn just turned on a 2x scope onto his gun there. So we have various optics you can put on. There's canted sights you can now switch to as well. So there he just blew the thing that was blocking the bomb. He's gonna roll it into the enemy. Ship you see in the background, that's the Valkyrie. That's our home. We're trying to get back there. Irish is a little scared of heights, so he doesn't really want to jump in right away. Thankfully, though, the Chinese left an attack boat, so we're going to commandeer that and use this as an advantage, as a way to show you guys some Battlefield 4 vehicular combat. So So the Chinese attack mode has 2 main attacks. When you're in the driver's seat, you got the 30mm cannon.
Patrol boat incoming!
We also gave you some homing missiles as well. Battlefield 4, everybody. Good job, Dan. So Battlefield 4 will come out. It'll be a launch title for Xbox One. And if you get the Xbox One version, we have a very special exclusive for you. We have a special, our first piece of DLC will come out exclusively first on Xbox One. It's called Battlefield 4 Second Assault. And it comes with 4 of the fan favorite maps, redone in Frostbite 3. Highly recommend you guys look out into that. Thank you so much, really appreciate it.
Sensational, I must say. Okay, so let's keep these demos rolling. So the next title we're going to show you guys really needs no introduction. It's a fan favourite, making its debut on the next generation console. Again, playable live today on an Xbox One console, Killer Instinct. Okay, now to give us a little look at this game, I'm going to introduce E from Xbox Live from the US to join us on stage. And the big round of applause for E. He's going to be playing with Jade over there. And also the crowd favourite Eric, he's back. Let's bring him back up. He's going to be playing Saber Wolf. Alright boys, let's get this game started. Let's do it.
Fireball, baby.
See what you got.
Never really kicked that Eric's ass.
And you never will.
Who remembers the combo breaker? Thank you. gonna end it already.
I'm afraid your path ends here.
Is anyone else just dying to say to rip out that ultra combo? I mean, come on, guys. Next time, please. All right. So, obviously, Killer Instinct, great-looking game, but also is going to deliver a number of other cool social features which will come with the Xbox One. And you guys may have heard, of course, that the box comes with a game DVR, so the ability to record that content and share it with friends, either over live or other social mediums. What we're also introducing is, with a partnership with Twitch, the ability to do live streaming of games. So have your friends jump in and watch you play, rip out those combos, and make comments on the fly. So that's going to be very cool. And of course, I can't leave today without mentioning that, Xbox Live is just growing and growing. I mean, we've got 300,000 servers around the globe right now, ready and waiting to deliver services on Xbox Live. So that's going to be awesome. If you think about no online cheating, no peer-to-peer hosting, no mid-game host migration, that drives me crazy. That's going away with dedicated Xbox Live servers. Okay, look, I would love to stay up here for another hour and show you guys, more and more games, but unfortunately that almost brings us to time. But if you guys do want to get up close and personal, check out the Xbox One console for yourselves to maybe take a few photos. We will be at the booth in the main area of the convention on Saturday and Sunday between these times. If you want to subscribe to our Twitter feed, we're going to be posting updates over the weekend. And I'm very excited to announce today that come October, we will have a mega booth with over 100 Xbox One consoles with playable code for you guys to get hands-on with at the EB Expo. So keep an eye out for that, guys. That is going to be awesome. So thanks once again for coming down and checking out Xbox One. Before I let you guys go, there is one other video of a title that I think, may be kind of a big deal. So thanks, guys. See you later.